you've seen what's happened in the legislature. We haven't gotten our work done. And I think a lot of that comes back to the fact that we haven't been as transparent as we should be.
A Minnesota state representative is pushing legislation that could give Minnesotans a clearer image of what exactly goes on behind closed doors at the Capitol.
As we watched over the last several years, more and more of the legislative work is going on behind closed doors.
DFL Representative Paul Thiessen is introducing legislation to make the legislature more transparent by subjecting them to the state's Data Practices Act and open meeting laws the legislature has exempted itself from for years.
Those should be open to the public. They should be done in advance so people know what's coming and can weigh in with their legislators about what they think is right.
Thiessen is also pushing to avoid end-of-session chaos where members vote on bills they have not had time to read or get feedback from their constituents on by requiring the House and Senate to adopt joint budget targets in an open and transparent process long before the end of session.
So I think, the more sunlight we can shed, the more responsible our budgeting, the more responsible our policy making is going to be. And again, people can have more faith and trust in the system.
Thiessen says he's expecting pushback and support from lawmakers on both sides of the aisle. He also has support from the Minnesota Newspaper Association. Mark Anfinson, attorney for the association, says it's long been the peculiarity of the open meeting law that it imposes certain requirements for transparency for local governing units, but not the legislature itself, stating the Newspaper Association always supports expanding transparency, which equals accountability. Thiessen says the next step in his efforts to further legislative transparency would be requiring meetings between the governor and the House and Senate leadership to be open to the public as well. Subscribe to Alpha News as we continue to track this legislation. For Alpha News, I'm Julia Aaron.